Today we're going to talk about a step that has a lot of issues that we see with social dancers, and it's the tango step known as the four-step. Of course, four-step has four steps in it, but we're just going to go over some of the common mistakes that we see from social dancing. Maybe you're making one of these mistakes or more, or maybe not, but good to just investigate whether that is happening, and that way you'll look better. So the four-step turns a little bit, and it allows us to go from a closed position to a promenade position. Now, there are a lot of different alignments that are available with the four-step, a lot of alignments. And the number one mistake that we see is that the man isn't really aware of where he wants to be. He does the step, but he doesn't really know what he's planning to do with the alignment, and that creates a lot of problems. So one of the alignments is if I'm facing the line of dance, then I can turn 1/8 between step 1 and 2. 1, 2. That's 1/8. So now I'm at a 45-degree angle. At that point, my turn stops. And now I'm going to step behind my right foot. The lady will step outside front of her left foot, and then we lead the lady to promenade and we close our feet. We're now in promenade position. And because I have turned my feet 1/8, they stay there. They go from along the floorboards, 1/8, I go behind, I close my feet, they're now at an angle, but I'm preparing to go in a new direction, which is a 90-degree angle from where I started. This alignment is typically used if I'm arriving at the end of the dance floor, about to turn the corner onto a new dance floor. Because in that case, I'm facing the line of dance, I turn 1/8, I'm now diagonal to wall on a new line of dance. And then when I close my feet here, I'm still diagonal to wall on a new line of dance. But that's only one option. We have another very common option is a quarter turn. I could go from facing the line of dance, quarter turn. When I close my feet went from right angles from where I started, and I'm still going to be going diagonal to center. So I don't want to go through all of that in detail, but I want you to understand that there are a lot of different options, and we have to be clear on which one we want, because if I'm not clear on which one I want to use, how can my partner be clear on where I want her to be? So that's a common mistake. The man just does not know where he wants to finish. Now, attached to that is a very common problem where the man maybe has some idea of where he wants to go, but the problem is he keeps turning throughout the step. So if I do this between step 1 and 2, if I do a 1/8 turn, quick, quick. Sometimes what happens is the man continues to turn. Now look at what's happening here. We are now hip to hip. And now when I want to lead the lady to promenade, it's really awkward. She might end up in front of me because of too much rotation, or I'll literally put her behind my body. It becomes very awkward.
It only gets worse from there.
So leads, between step 1 and 2, there's a turn. After that, don't turn. Now, having said that, there's some crazy alignments that are possible with this figure, which the rule breaks a little bit, but that's a higher level and becomes very complex, and I don't want to get into that. The most common alignments, we change 1/8, and then we stay there. So after that second step, stay there. And then take the third step, we're still there. Then we close our feet with the right foot slightly back from the left. So that's number one mistake, is just an inability to control the alignment, knowing where you are or knowing how much to turn at each point. Second mistake is that the man waits too long to lead the lady to promenade. Also extremely common. The four-step is kind of challenging because we begin in closed position. Closed position, my right shoe is pointed between my partner's feet, her right shoe is pointed between my feet. When we do our turn, let's say it's an eighth turn, quick, quick. My right foot is pointed between her feet, her right foot is pointed between my feet. But because of our movement, I want her to step outside on the next step. So my next step and her next step are going to be in CBMP. And then between step 3 and 4, I need her to switch from this direction to now she's going to swivel her feet to point
And turn her head.
across because our movement is going to be diagonal. Basic rule is that in promenade position, our feet are at right angles to each other. The movement is where the arrow points. Now, the arrow, it's mismatched because her feet are behind mine, but it's essentially an arrow. It's pointing in this diagonal direction. But I have to lead her between step 3 and 4. And a lot of guys, they wait until step 4 and then they expect her to turn to prominent. How's that going to happen? So again, if I do this version, if I start at an angle, quick, 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 turn her. That's not the step.
Too late.
I need to turn her between 3 and 4. Quick, 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 turn her, quick. So she turns as she swivels on the ball of that
Changing her
right
weight
foot.
to the right.
Yeah, as she's changing weight. So that is a very common mistake. The guys wait too long to lead the lady to promenade. And the last mistake is that people confuse this step with the 5-step.
Yes.
Both steps essentially have 4 steps because in the 5-step, the link is the 5th step. But the 5-step ends with the feet apart. The 4-step ends with the feet together. What I see a lot is the men dance the 4-step like a 5-step. Quick, 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 quick. And usually it's combined with being late on the lead. And so they've essentially danced kind of a 5-step, but they intended to dance a 4-step. Even if I do lead the link early, but I end with my feet apart, quick, 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 quick. I'm pulling the lady,
You
and
pull her
so
off her
I'm
feet.
asking her to swivel on her right foot, but at the same time I'm moving her off of that foot. That's awkward for her. So we do not want her to keep moving. We don't want her to send her left foot to the side. We want her to close her left foot to her right foot.
And that's how she knows the difference if it's a 4-step or a 5-step.
Yeah, that's one of the ways because there's
Right.
no lead.
We don't know what's coming.
There's no lead to promenade in the 5-step until the very end. But in the 4-step, we're leading her to promenade between 3 and 4.
Right.
So we want her to stay in that position on step 3, even as she's turning to promenade. We don't want her to pull her off her feet.
Right.
So the 5-step ends with the feet apart. The 4-step ends with the feet together. But it's in promenade position, which means the lady is behind the man's hip. Our centers move very slightly so that they're not exactly right side to right side. Her center is facing my appendix and my right side is just skimming the side of her body.
We are both looking forward.
And we're both looking in the same direction. So that is promenade position, but our feet are aligned slightly differently from the bodies, and that allows us to move now in a diagonal direction from where our feet are pointing. So that is another very common mistake in the 4-step. We hope that this has been helpful for you. And if you are making one of those mistakes, we hope this is going to help you to correct it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
If you want to learn more figures for social dancing, combinations of figures, technique, dances, perhaps dances that you are not that familiar with.
Little tips to make you look better on the social dance floor.
Our Delta Dance video membership is a perfect way to do that. Videos are available 24/7 with your browser. The membership is affordable, and you can log on from anywhere in the world at any time. You can slow it down, watch it at half speed, and it gives you lots of information what to do, what not to do. So a Delta Dance video membership is designed to improve your social dancing so that you have more options, better technique, you can look better on the floor.